This is QuickTake. I dredge the depths of the internet looking for gaming news so you don't have to.
Number 1.
Starting off with a little bit more of Ampere knowledge. So Ampere has successfully launched. Kind of. As we have recently seen, there is some questions around the voltage and potentially the capacitors and how sensitive those components actually are to variations in electrical flow, RF interference, and other signal interference. There's been a lot of reporting on this, with a lot of people suggesting that the rear caps right in the middle of the back plate on a lot of cards or directly behind the GPU itself, if you have 6 solid caps, that could be an inferior design, even though it meets the reference spec that NVIDIA has put out. Other people are suggesting that that is utter nonsense. Your mileage may vary, but NVIDIA has acknowledged that this is a potential problem and has issued driver updates to improve the situation. So this happens with every generation and every launch. You shouldn't immediately go out, RMA your card, and complain that it's not giving you the level of performance you expected, because quite honestly, it probably is. Rumor is NVIDIA increased the caps. Rumor is NVIDIA allowed more of the processor to be fully utilized, thereby giving it a smaller boost range, especially on the high end and especially for overclockers. This is perfectly fine and acceptable. One thing to note here though, and NVIDIA does have a lot of blame on this, they did not share their information with the AIBs in a timely manner. Lots of people are suggesting that the reviewers actually got reference drivers before the AIBs themselves, which is a very bad show by NVIDIA. Now I get it, guys. You want your marketing, you want to control the message, you want your Apple one more thing moment. But at the same time, lying and obscuring information from your board partners is a very bad show. And unfortunately, we're hearing the same murmurs from the AMD side. Quite honestly, the consumers are the ones that lose out when businesses take these shady practices.
Number 2.
Jumping back onto our fight between Epic and Apple and Epic and Google. The judge in the case scolded Epic for lies of omission and the way that they have been handling their overall strategy with this case, citing that Epic knew full well what they were getting into when they decided to launch their own store. However, he has not issued a summary verdict. Epic was hoping to seek an injunction to allow their products to be back on the iOS store. In addition to this, Google has announced that they are going to be slightly nicer to third-party stores going forward in the future. This is probably to avoid some antitrust lawsuits and some other things that have been holding over the head of these OS and mobile storefronts. More to come on this issue, of course. The trial itself, Apple versus Epic, is slated for July 2021.
Number 3.
From CD Projekt Red, as they are crunching in order to get Cyberpunk 2077 out the door and into all of our collective hands. Marketing, of course, has gone into full swing, with a recent Keanu Reeves television advertisement even launching. In order to get ready for the game, which is supposed to come out November 19th, they are crunching their developers, mandating a 6-day work week. So this goes against what CD Projekt Red has said that they were going to do, and it kind of goes against what the industry is complaining all about. Overworking your developers, forcing crunch upon them, and ultimately burning them out in a short period of time. Never has that been a good business practice, and the fact that CD Projekt Red is going back on what they said is not a good showing. However, it's not all horrible news. They have promised that 10% of the revenue will be going to these employees as a form of a bonus. So if you are picking up CD Projekt Red's latest game from GOG Galaxies, you are helping fund even more of these developers and giving them at least proper compensation for having to work extra time above and beyond what they already are. No other word if they're being compensated for the time that they're spending, however. If these are salaried employees, chances are they are not receiving extra compensation, and this bonus is the only thing that they have to look forward to. I empathize with these employees, and I hope that they have a successful launch. And I also hope that maybe the game industry can continue to look at unionization to make sure that you are not mistreating workers.
Number 4.
Next up, we have 2 bits of news. One, Google announced a whole slate of new products, including a new Chromecast device. Curiously absent, though, is support for Stadia. And Amazon decided to launch Luna, a cloud streaming service of their own. Okay, I'm going to admit it. There's going to be an old man gamer, grumpy gamer rant coming up. I don't understand who these services are for. They keep citing this imaginary person or imaginary customer that isn't involved in gaming more than a couple times a given year. We've had 3 generations of adults in the United States come forward as gamers. Grandparents, parents, and now kids have grown up with video games, arcades, Atari, Nintendo, Sega, Sony, Microsoft. You have 60 some odd years of history here of games being available to people. If you want to play games, even on mobile devices, forgot to add those. If you want to play games, you're going to be able to find an avenue to be able to play the games that you want to play. You're either going to buy as a family one console and play it in front of your living room, or you're going to buy multiple computers or multiple smartphones. So who exactly is this imaginary person that's only a quasi-gamer that only plays ever so often, but yet is going to fork over $20 a month in order to access hardware? Additionally, both of these companies are going down the rabbit hole of trying to have their cake and eat it too. They want you to subscribe to their service. They want you to access the hardware that they're putting out. And at the same time, they want you to purchase games through them, which ultimately could net them anywhere from 15 to 30%, depending upon the take that they have negotiated with publishers. All of this means that they want as much of the pool as possible, but they're not really solving anything. And this is the classic Silicon Valley mindset that runs into problems all the time. Cool technology is not in and of itself a reason to have a product. Cool technology exists in order to solve problems, and there's no problem that these cloud streaming services are actually solving. In fact, they're probably causing more problems, as we've recently seen with GeForce Now. So ultimately, my question to somebody like an Amazon would simply be, why are you trying to go down this business model? Give me that service for free if I purchase an Amazon game and it's part of your Amazon library. Allow me to access that service for, let's say, 30 days, and if I enjoy the experience, I'm more likely to subscribe and continue to use that service. But charging me to use it up front, charging me for what is essentially an alpha and a beta, just doesn't make sense. Finally, I want to use my own controllers. I don't want to buy a Google controller and an Amazon controller and an Xbox controller and a PlayStation 5 controller and a Nintendo controller. That's what a computer behind me is most popular for. If I want to use any input device, I can use that device. Just let me use the controller that I prefer. I get it if you're selling a specific console with exclusives and everything else that's traditional here, but you're not. You're not giving me any reason to sign up for your service. You're not giving me any reason to get a controller from you. You're not giving me any reason why I should be part of your tech demo. And I'm not interested. So that is QuickTake for this week. If you've enjoyed this content, tune in every Friday for QuickTake. I'm the Grain Tech, and I hope you have a wonderful day.